What's up, people? One Up Punch here. So I got a new game I want to talk about in this one for the video of the week, and it's called TexnoPlazm. And the only reason why I remember that name was because one, it was kind of hard to remember, two, kind of hard to say, and three, it's the only boomer shooter that reminded me of the gun fu or martial arts you're going to be seeing in this video. TexnoPlazm essentially is you playing a female protagonist, being able to punch the living shit out of anything in front of you. You could parry, you could actually go up in the air and do roundhouse kicks, you could jump up in the air and kick somebody, you could also ground slam and do like a shockwave around you. You could pick up different weapons. They have their own durabilities from melee weapons to actually range weapons, but once the durability is gone, you can't use that weapon anymore and you have to switch to something else. Kind of reminds me of Severed Steel in a way, but in Severed Steel, you didn't really have the ability to like fight so much. You had like a cannon for an arm, and then one other hand that was still there was able to pick up guns and shoot at stuff. So being able to fight them, and they do go through the tutorial when you first start up the game, is pretty damn fun in my opinion. The game is fast and fluid, and I do like the art style as well. Being able to pick up weapons, throw them, being able to parry or block. When you have your hands up, you could actually block, and if you got a right time before they hit you, you could do a parry, knock them up in the air, and do combo moves so that you can get your combo higher, or like you could get your health back even faster. There are enemies that are tougher to deal with. You have the normal grunts that basically take a couple punches and they're down. Then you have the upgraded ones that you have to keep hitting multiple times, otherwise they attack you a bunch with a weapon or just melee. You have the higher guy than that, which is a bigger guy, like more muscular, with an axe that will basically swing at you 3 times, and he does like a dashing on the third one. Then later on, you have some like kind of, I would call them scouts or rogues. Some say ninjas, but honestly, they look like thieves that basically do a flying kick at you, and you could parry that as well. And I did play a little bit of the demo. I only put like maybe about 45 minutes into it, but for some reason, I like the whole melee combat gun food type of deal. I also like the fact that you could jump on walls, though I do not know if you could wall run. They actually didn't say really much in the tutorial whether you could wall run, but you can jump off the wall twice before you start falling to your death. You could also hit them with a super move using the right mouse button. Essentially with your fist, you will do like a super slam or a super punch, and they'll fly backwards. This also happens with some heavy enemies. If you do it with a weapon, depending upon what it is, like the melee weapon, whether it be the knife or the axe or the lead pipe, you'll do like a slashing maneuver multiple times, and that's as you're dashing through them. So if you're going to do the right mouse button with like a knife, it'll dash through and then do multiple slashes at once. They also have different areas, but a lot of these areas are like arena based. They're not like an open world. And what do I mean by that? Essentially, I'm talking about like Sulaco, for example, is a pretty open world or big levels. You can go to stores, you can go to streets, you can go to different locations on the map. It's not like a big area per se. It's linear with a lot of arena-based areas that you're fighting different enemies. And I'm going to talk about some new stuff later about some of the issues I had. The other thing is they have these secrets that if you unlock like the first level or second level and find all the secrets, you could actually be able to unlock new things. And that's when you find an upgrade station, which is 2 hands clasping together in like a circle, and you can unlock different new techniques or new unlocks, but you have to get all the secrets first in the levels that tell you to do it. They'll have 3 things in a list, and it'll tell you what you need to find in the secret areas of the level that you're playing, and then whatever you can get from that. They also have a normal store that you can go and buy like a weapon, ranged or melee. You could also refill the durability of it. You could also refill the ammo of your gun. But like I said, once the charges of the gun are gone, that gun has to be thrown away. Same thing with the melee weapons. The durability is completely gone. It despawns. Another thing about the weapons is that they only have a time limit to be on the ground. For example, if you go and fight this guy and he drops his weapon, the weapon will only be there for like maybe a couple seconds before it completely goes away and you can't get it anymore. Once that weapon is gone, you can't pick it up. You can't do anything until the next level, until you find another enemy, destroy them, and grab their stuff. The weapons aren't really that much. I think when I fired the normal pistol that you get It has a magazine of 3, and then there's another pistol you could also get later on that fires like these tasers that electrify. They don't go into the enemy when you shoot at them. It goes through like a slow motion type of thing, and then it locks on like a Deadeye from Red Dead Redemption. But instead of going into the enemy, it goes and hits the ground and electrifies, so you can push people into it and do a bunch of damage. The other thing I like about this game is it's a pretty badass soundtrack. But sadly, we're going to have to talk about the negatives after this, because this is when I start having issues. For example, when I find this doorway and I go in this small arena with these 2 big guys with axes that swing around and round and round, kind of like Garen from League of Legends, they do kill me eventually. And then when I go back, the door is permanently closed and I cannot open it anymore. Sadly, this happens to me 2 more times, and I think one actually breaks the game because I can't go past the level to complete it. So I'm kind of screwed. Even after resetting the level and starting over again, I still couldn't get into it, or it happened one time and then didn't open up anymore. That is another issue I have. The other thing is that I have some long loading times. Not a really big deal. I don't have any FPS drops. It's been pretty smooth sailing when it comes down to the actual gameplay in terms of fighting, shooting, dealing with the enemies, and so on. Like I was talking about earlier with this gun, you have to shoot the ground with that secondary alt fire, and it'll have the taser on the ground, and you push stuff into it or have them walk into it. They have other weapons like a shotgun or flat cannon that has a explosive grenade for the alt, and then of course shoots like shotgun pellets or flak at them. You have another gun which is an energy SMG, and that fires about 10 rounds with energy ammunition. The melee weapons are the knife, the lead pipe, the axe, and I think there was something else, but I don't remember what it was. In terms of the actual replayability of this, I mean, it's a fighting or brawler type of game, and I mean, it's early access, so they're probably going to add a lot more stuff later on. They do have like a map, like for example, if you ever played Proteus, when you beat a level, you can go and walk around like in a Mario Party style circle to where you can go from one to another. They do have that after you complete like a couple of levels, which do become harder because the enemies become more difficult, and kind of like Sulaco and some other boomer shooters, they progressively get more advanced, have higher techniques, have higher talents, have higher gear, and better weapons. So that is a thing for when it comes down to this game. Like I said earlier, there are some issues I have. For example, when I press the switch and I try to go through this door one time, when I get killed, even after hitting the green thing, which essentially is a beacon, because when you die, you actually start at that location. If you don't, you start all the way back to the beginning, then you're kind of screwed. That being said, for $10, with full asking price being $12, I think this game is really fun to frickin' play. It's pretty smooth. I haven't had a whole lot of problems to it besides a couple of hiccups here and there. The fighting is fun. The shooting is great, and I've been liking it so far. And that's all I got to say about TexnoPlazm. Anyway, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been a video. Thanks for watching, as per usual. I do have some other things coming up. I'm going to be working on Sunken Land, the public beta test, because they finally released the heavy naval combat, giving people the repair dock so they can customize their ship or get a ship that's heavily armored with cannons, get the cannon weapons on there, and being able to fight off like these big fortresses that have heavy-duty machine guns like 50 caliber and some cannons. If you're still hesitating to buy the game, you could also play the demo that's currently there. They did not remove it when they put it in early access, so you can still try it out. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.